So you want to be more consistent with a behavior that you haven't been consistent with over a long period of time yet. And we tried just executing, like just do the thing, and that works for some time. We also tried what's the why behind it, and that can help for some time, but it takes a lot of reminding yourself. And I am now realizing it's not just that, because for me, that was the missing piece with content, is I needed to be so strong in my why and remind myself of that when I get lost of what am I doing and why. I would come back to that and I would have it written down. But there's something else that we can think about too, or a few things. And the why can be good for driving the action, but in this case, let's just view the why as we know that we're going in the direction that you want to go in. Like, this is a good direction, and we're basically like chasing it. We're doing this, we're on this path for the right reasons, and we're okay with that. So we have that part where we're thinking about and like deciding, okay, which direction do we want to go in and why? Once you have that super clear, put it in a box. And here's the first tool that I'll say, like, can we get to a point of not negotiating? Like, that decision has been made. We know that you've already decided that you have a strong enough why. And if you don't feel strong in it, we could have that conversation again, write it down, put it in a box, and then you have to trust yourself for a period of time, like 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. You have to trust your past self that you're doing these certain actions for a reason that you've thought about thoroughly over here. Like, we've thought about the why, now it's time to execute. So when you go to execute and you're 30 days into the 90 days or 2 weeks in, and you start thinking, wait, why am I doing this? You can just be like, swipe. I'm like swiping whatever on a dating app or something. Like, don't need that. No need to give that thought any attention, because you know you've already evaluated it over here. And you could even, we can go into strategies for how to, this is like a meditation thing of how to not be mindful of the thought and be like, oh, that's popping up. Like, I'm wanting to know why I'm doing this, but I already decided that. And you could also tell yourself, in a month, we can have that conversation again, or in a week, we can have this conversation again. But for today, we're making the piece of content. And you come up with, okay, what are the things that, and maybe in that thinking stage, when we come up with the why, what would feel good for you? And one thing every day, one piece of content recorded every day, something like that, I think would be good. So you have something tangible that you can do and that is achievable and that you think you would actually do on those days where you're like, I don't know why I'm doing this. If we can get to the point where you don't think about it, you don't question it, you just execute on the plan that we make. So because you keep questioning, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Something that might be coming up is, do you think that you're asking that question and that's stopping you from taking action because you want to have certainty that this is going to work out before you start? Or before you do you like have a fear of putting effort into something that might not work out in the way that you imagine? Or just you might not have a tangible defined thing but like, is there fear about putting in effort because you don't know where you're going? And so you think that by having that clear why, like, I'm doing this for this reason, that will give you certainty that like this is going to be worth it. And a question you can ask related to that is, if it was guaranteed that you would be successful if you just did these things, would you do it? And if the answer is yes, then you're on the right path. And if it's no, then what are we doing here? So let's say, if you do need that certainty of, I want to know that this is going somewhere valuable, like you want to put your effort into something that is certain or more guaranteed. And this could all be subconscious. Like, you could consciously or logically not think this, but we're trying to tap into like the stuff that you're not naming, maybe. Like, because there are a lot of beliefs that shape behavior that we don't see. So we're like getting to that part of it. If part of you is fearful about putting in effort for something that doesn't work out, how can we, that means that you basically are in the identity of somebody who doesn't put effort in unless the outcome is guaranteed or certain. So can we change your identity and remind yourself, like, I'm the kind of person that shows up even when the results aren't certain? And that could be, am I the kind of person that experiments with things? Am I the kind of person that does experimentation? And that's a big part of content. Like for me, it's throwing spaghetti at the wall. It's like seeing what works. And yeah, content especially, and anything creative. Like, are you willing to experiment? And a part of experimentation is you don't know what the outcome is going to be. And I just made a video on this. So like, it is, the more risk and the more uncertain things are, the higher the reward. And I think meaning, like, I don't know, you could work at McDonald's and be guaranteed like you're gonna make however much money, and a year from now it's gonna look, your job's gonna look like this. But I don't think you want something like that. The entrepreneurial, artistic, creative spirit likes the uncertainty and the risk, and the reward is greater for that, like more money, more impact. Like, and if you're gonna make something that doesn't exist, there is no guarantee. Like, you're not getting that roadmap of, if you make skits in this exact way and follow this exact script, then you're gonna get 1 million followers and $1 million. Like, the whole point, and I think the part that you like, is that it's creative and there is no, but you have to accept that because it's creative and it's yours and it's new, it also isn't guaranteed or having a certain outcome. And so when you're having that thought day to day, should I make content? Why am I doing this? That's the wrong question. Instead, ask yourself, am I the kind of person that experiments? Am I the type of person who is entrepreneurial and, I don't know, like, is risky and experiments and comes up with new things? And before, when I was talking about the why over here, we could call that the decision and then the execution. So you've already decided why you're doing this. You've decided that you're going to do this. And then it's the execution part of you're following the plan. But if you're always thinking about like, okay, is this successful or not? Like, you have to break it down more so that you are getting some sort of reward or feedback in the day-to-day. So you can think about what kind of data that you want to collect by you showing up, like that you can get almost instant feedback on, or like weekly feedback. Like, what topics do I like talking about? How does my voice sound? How am I showing up? What new environments was I in? What formats do I like skits or whatever. Different edits, different captions. Like, what are you liking? What is landing? How does this feel energetically? Like, what emotions are coming up? Like, there's so many things that you can measure and learn about in the shorter term, which can help you build momentum and like, I don't know. Oh, okay. So basically, instead of thinking about the goal of I am successful, it's the goal of gathering that data. So you're learning all those things or whatever you decide you want to get out of this. Even if the goal is I'm going to practice showing up like an artist, like an entrepreneur, and take action in that identity. And every time I do that, that's a huge win. I have notes I'm looking at. Okay, so what I was saying before is the real fear that you'll put effort into something and that it won't pay off, is basically what I was saying. And then you could also view this as an experiment. So the goal of this experiment is to make sure that you get, okay. So if you fear that you'll put effort into something and it won't pay off, then that's where this might be separate. We can think about, okay, oh my gosh, sorry. I'm probably not even gonna edit this. So if you fear putting in effort and not getting any value out of it, how can we reward you for just your effort? How can you get value from your effort? And what's the guaranteed value? So some examples could be clearer thinking, better communication, like if you did that Higher Up Wellness challenge of not saying filler words, building a body of ideas, expressing yourself, discovering what you care about, discovering what you like talking about. Yeah. So basically, yeah, if you're afraid that it won't be worth it, let's find some reasons that it will be worth it. Even like the identity that you will become by doing this. And like being a content creator, I guess. But I don't know, I feel like it has to be even more than that. Let me know if any of this lands or how any of that feels. And I don't want to be that coach that is just like, just do it. It's like a fitness coach saying like, just count your calories, just work out. Like yes, to an extent, but there's so much else going on that it's not just do it or not. There's so much emotion and things that you're not even aware of and stuff. And I think really when you unpack things, like there's gonna be something that kind of hits and you're like, oh, that's it. And I'm reading a book, No Bad Parts, too. Like you could also think about what thoughts are coming up, like diving deeper, and we could have a conversation about this, but what voices in your head pop up for why you want to know why. And it could be a version of yourself, like an 8-year-old kid or something, like just, yeah, what feelings and emotions, giving that part of yourself that wants to question, like what are they thinking and feeling, and addressing that. And this can be helpful doing with somebody else too. And this is all internal family systems, and I've been led through this and I've done it for myself, but I haven't done it with somebody yet, but I do want to. I might have though done variations of this with people. And yeah, I won't get too deep into that with this video, but that's just another example of the parts of yourself. And I've done some videos on this, but it's crazy how just giving these voices room, and I might have said one of the voices, like the one that wants certainty that this is going to be worth it or whatever, like that could be a part of yourself that wants that, whereas another part doesn't care, you know? But that's an example of how when you kind of peel back the onion and you address different layers of why you're not doing the thing that you say that you want to do, it can be resolved like so easily sometimes, or I don't know, it's just good to label it. And I want to get you to a place where you actually are showing up and doing the things that you say that you want to do and are able to execute and figure out what's blocking you from executing now. So these are my ideas at the moment, and they could land, could not, but have been thinking about these things a lot. Oh, last part is right now it seems like you're looking for proof that it will work if you wanted that certainty before you're willing to commit. And this is a lot of people with a lot of different things, that you want that guarantee. But what do you think the people who are successful have in common? They show up without having that guarantee. Proof that this will work only comes after the commitment, after showing up for an extended period of time that you don't even know how long it's going to be. So how are we going to keep you going for as long as that takes? And also the question is, are you willing to do this long enough to find out? And you might not be, and that's okay. You could also think about if you spent the next 6 months, 12 months in this, like, oh, should I do it? Should I not? Like, what are you losing out on? Your, what would you lose? And also, what would you gain by experimenting, even though you don't have the guarantee? There's also a world where you genuinely don't like this, though, or you don't like the process, or that you don't want to go where it could take you, or you're not willing to put in the work for that long. That's all totally valid. I was thinking of, like, at this point in my life, I'm not willing to put in 2-3 years of surfing to be 2 or 3 years good at surfing. I don't know. But no matter what, this is super exciting, and just you're learning so much about yourself, even by answering these questions, by watching this video, by trying to do something that you haven't been doing. Like, think about how much has come up and how much you can dive into it when you have something that you want to do and you're not doing it. There's an opportunity to literally learn so much about yourself. And yeah. And this kind of effort to figure out, like, okay, what's actually behind this is going to give you so much more clarity, I feel like, about who you are and how you show up in all areas of your life. And I don't know, you're growing, which is, I think, fun and amazing and what we're here to do. So you are crushing it. And again, let me know if any of this resonates. I'm also on Instagram at How I Live My Life, and always here in the DMs. I love working through this kind of stuff. Even if I don't have the answer right away, I like thinking on it and researching and stuff. So let me know if any of this resonates, and I'll see you soon.